Hello my honeys and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all really good. Today I am going to do a 2019 favourites video, but a tutorial because obviously your gal needs makeup. One thing I do want to just say is I got a new tripod, so if we kind of be sitting a bit weird or we're sitting a bit wonky, I apologise. I'm not sure how to work it. Not very technical, but we're getting there. We will get there. It's also early in the morning, so I resemble a little bit of a corpse, to say the least. My skin is dry as anything because in my favourites I want to put in my moisturiser and stuff as well. So just please bear with me of how I look. You know I won't look like this at the end of the video, so it's all good. What I'm going to do is basically like walk you through. It's so funny, my ring light is making me be like, oh, I can't see. Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to walk you through my favourite products that I feel like I gravitated most towards in 2019. But I'm also going to show you, like, I'm going to do a colourful look today because my last tutorial was a wee bit more of a neutral look, but I will show you like my favourite like neutral palette and stuff as well. So we will have a few different options, but obviously I'm not going to put all them options on my face, but just so that you have like your more crazy stuff and then your more softer stuff. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to do this in orders of how I do my like crazy makeup looks. So I always start with prepping my base. So this probably will be a bit of a weird order in what everything goes in, but it's fine because you're still learning all my favourite products. So my first thing that I do is prep my skin. So I always go in with a moisturiser. Just to hydrate it because after washing it, it always feels a bit dry and tight. So my two favourites is the Clinique Moisture Surge, which is gone. There is nothing in this. I need to buy a new one, but it's January, so you know what I mean. No, we don't do that in January. And then the L'Oreal Hydra Genius. Anybody that's been following me a long time knows I absolutely love this. These are very similar. Obviously I prefer, like, obviously this is going to be slightly more luxury because it is a luxury brand and this is not, but they are a very similar moisturiser. However, if I want more hydration I will go in with this one, but I ain't got none left, so I'm going to go in with my L'Oreal Hydra Genius. Just one pump on my hand and I just blend that into my skin. Next step in my makeup routine would now be to carve my eyebrows out with concealer. So I have picked 3 of my favourite concealers of the year. The first one I kind of used into the year was the Barry M All Night Long concealer, which is this one here. You can't see it, who cares? And it is in the shade Cookie. That would be my most popular one. They also do Oatmeal, which is I think shade number 2, and it's really good as well. Obviously they're the same consistency, so just whatever colour suits you. My next one then was the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. This is very, very thick. It's brilliant as a concealer and stuff under the eyes, and it's quite similar to Tarte Shape Tape. But Tarte Shape Tape I think I'm slightly allergic to because anytime I put it on my eyes stream all day. So this is very good as well, and it's very full coverage, and I think it's like £5 or something. And then my newest favourite is the Pretty Fresh, Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer. This little baby is an absolute dream. It is so full coverage and it's so pigmented and it lasts so well, and it's so hydrating too. So it's not like dry and crappy. It's just such a good concealer. Yeah, I think I'm going to try and use this one as my carving out underneath my brows. So I'm just gonna carve out underneath my brow. I'm also gonna do one side of my eye and then do the other off camera because I feel like that works best for me, so that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm just using a Inglot 22T brush I'm just going to carve directly underneath my brow, just creating a shape. So the next stage of my makeup would be my eye primer. Girl, your girl loves her eye primers. I have more eye primers than this, but these ones are like my favourites for different reasons. So we have the Helene Original Base, which is kind of like a moussey consistency. If you've watched my YouTube videos from last year, you know I will have used this. This was kind of my first like eye primer that I was like, yes, this is the good stuff. It's really good. However, I feel like I used this more at the start of the year and I haven't really picked up for it as much at the end of the year. I do occasionally use it, just not as much as I used to. Another one that I love is the PLOUISE base. Obviously everyone loves this. The only thing is I use this all the time on clients, but I never ever use it on myself. Reason being is I think I have a slight allergy to it. So whenever I use it, I find my eyes react quite badly. So I just couldn't use it on myself and I prefer not to risk it. So I just leave it for clients, and it's a really good eyeshadow base. I have nothing bad to say about it other than the fact that I don't think I can use it because I think I have a slight allergy to it. My next one is the Be Perfect Cosmetics Perfect Prime. This is unbelievable. It's kind of similar to the PLOUISE base, to be honest. It's a wee bit more of a salmony colour, but it is really good, and I like that it has a wee wand as well to apply it with. The difference between this and the Helen E is this is more of a mousse. This is more of like a concealer consistency, but it's different than a concealer because I find if you put concealer on, you don't really get like that good, you don't get like that wet base finish. Obviously with this is a mousse, so you're not going to get that wet base finish, but you get a really good sticky base to apply your products. With this, I find I need to layer this up a wee bit more because obviously it is a much thinner consistency than this, but my eyeshadows overall in photos always tend to look a lot better when I use this over this. And then a new one, which I can't really include this in my 2019 favourites, but I am just going to share this with you as well because it is really fab. So it's the Helen E Double Base eyeshadow primer. It is nothing like this one. It's really full coverage. It is unbelievable. Super thick, and it kind of has the same hydrating concealer consistency as the Be Perfect, but it's even fuller, so it's really good. The only thing is it's really wet, so I always find whenever I'm doing my eyeshadow, I've obviously quite hooded eyes, so the base that's sitting here will kind of transfer up to here, but then it also kind of gives you the good like on how far up to take your shadows, which is good. Obviously I'm not going to use this today, but I just thought I would mention how good this is. I'm going to use the Be Perfect one for today. So I'm just popping that straight on my eyelids, and I apply a decent amount, and then I'm just going to pat that out with a flat brush. Go into eyeshadow palettes, so I'm going to show you my favourite like neutral palette of the year first. I'm not going to put it on my eyes today because we're doing a more colourful look because our last look was neutral, so yes. But I think you can probably already tell this, but my favourite neutral palette of the year was the Be Perfect Clientele palette, and it's not just a neutral palette, it does have, if I could get it open, please excuse the state of mine, it's absolutely disgusting. It's been well loved, as you can tell. It does have little pops of colour, like you've got your little like cranberry tones, a few greens in there, so it is a really good palette. It's a brilliant palette for a makeup artist. I literally use this all the time whenever I have clients, and I just absolutely love it. It's so good. So I highly recommend that one. Another neutral palette I've been loving for myself is the Anastasia Soft Glam palette. I have been gravitating more towards this at the end of the year, but I find, oh no, it's dirty. I find I literally pick this up and, oh sorry, dropped the brush. I find I always use the shade Burnt Orange and Cypress Umber. So literally Burnt Orange through the crease and Cypress Umber for like a mini soft glam wing. You can let me know if you want a tutorial on something like that. It's more like everyday makeup look. But yeah, it's an awesome palette too. My all-time favourite palettes of the year was the Anastasia and Norvina palettes. These are really expensive, but they are absolutely amazing. Like, they're beautiful. And they're just such a unique consistency. Like, obviously, normally Anastasia eyeshadows, they generally tend to be quite powdery. So you dip your brush in and you get like a heck of a lot of shadow. You generally get a really good consistency with them. You can build them up really well. They're really good. That was the purple one. This is more your like orangey reds and greens. Like, they're just so beautiful. And then you've got your more bluey tones as well. But they all do have like those little lovely like excuse me, they all do have those little lovely pops of colour in there too. I'm only going to use one of them today because I think it's quite unfair for me just to throw all three palettes into a look, and then it means you can't recreate the look. Well, you can if you have the palettes, but I would prefer just to use one, and it means if you want to purchase the palette, you're only having to purchase one rather than three. Also for today's tutorial, I'm not going to be lifting up the colours, but the palette that I am going to use is the Anastasia Volume 2 palette. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the dark like purpley blue in the palette, which is called D5. I'm just going to pack that on my outer corner with a Eva 230. Next, going to go in with a Sigma E36 brush, and I'm going to go in with the shade B3, and I'm just taking this 50% over the top of that colour, 50% onto the skin. So I'm just using this to further blend out the first shade. I'm just taking this in the inner part of the eye. I'm going to pick up an Morphe M562, and I'm going to go in with the shade B5, which is like a bright blue in the palette, and again blending that in the middle into the green slightly, and just using it to blend out the blue shade a bit further. Then we're going to go in with a Morphe M506, and we're going to go in with the pink shade in the palette, which is D3, and use this to blend out the outer edge. I'm now going to go in with another Sigma E36, and I'm going to go in with the shade D4 in the palette, which is a bright yellow, and I'm just going to use that to slightly blend a bit of the edges of the pink here. I'm now going to cut the crease, and my favourite product to cut the crease this year, sorry, not this year, 2019, my favourite product to cut the crease this year has been the PLOUISE and Mama Mitchell collection Acid Rain collection in the shade Blank Canvas. So this is unbelievable for cutting the crease. It's so opaque, so pigmented, and it just makes it so easy to do. And it's literally the cutest thing because they're literally like little paints. So I'm just going to pop a bit of that on the back of my hand. Before I was using this, I was using the PLOUISE base in shade 0.5, which weirdly never took a reaction to, but I feel like it was because it was on top of loads of other shadows that almost couldn't get through to give me a reaction. Who knows? I don't know. And I'm just going to use the same brush that I used to carve out my brows to create my cut crease, which is the Inglot 22TT. And what I like to do when I'm doing a cut crease is follow it from my inner corner and just taking it slightly above my natural crease. So I do cut my crease with my eyes open just to make it that bit easier to follow. Okay, and then what I'll do is once I've got the initial line down, I'll just pull the base down and just fill that in. I'm then just going to take an old Morphe M507 and I'm just going to tickle the edges of that base into the shadow. And then I'm going to take the greeny shade, so the B3, and just soften the edges of that into the shadow. What I'm going to do now is go in with a pigment over where we've cut the crease. And my favourite thing to stick pigments on with this year has been the NYX Glitter Primer. This is unreal. Even if I'm just going to use like a shimmery shadow, I'll still go in with this first and just pop it on and then pop it over the top. It's really sticky, which is really good. So I just like to apply that. I'm going to tell you my pigment now too as well, so that we're not gonna let the glitter primer dry by the time we go in with the pigment. So my favourite pigments of the year have been the peaches and cream pigments, which are amazing. Today I'm going to go in with the shade Rattlesnake, which is a beautiful like greeny goldy tone, and I think it'll go really well with this look. So I'm just going to go in with, so I'm going to put the glitter primer down on a flat brush and then just pack the pigment directly over the top of that. And then once you're done that, it should look a little something like this. Okay, so once I've kind of got to this stage of my makeup, I then like to do a black line along the top of my lashes. No matter what kind of look I'll do, I'll always do some form of line along there, just because I feel like it kind of frames the eye and shapes the eye that wee bit better, and also makes the look slightly more wearable. So my favourite liner of 2019 was probably all over the Anastasia Beverly Hills black liquid liner. Another one of my favourites is the NYX black liquid liner. The only thing is with that one, I find it really difficult to stick your lashes on over the top of it. It almost like they start to lift. And then another favourite is the Inglot 77 gel liner as well, if you prefer more of a gel consistency. I prefer liquids just because they're a wee bit quicker and it means there's not a brush to clean after, which is good, but I always use the Inglot 77 on clients, and I also love it in the waterline for smoking out. So I'm just going to go in with that Anastasia black liquid liner, and I'm just going to basically draw a thin line across my lash line, slightly taking it from thinner to thicker whenever I get towards the outer corner. And then once I've done that, I'm just going to take the black shade in the Anastasia palette, which is E5, and I'm just going to use that to smoke the edge of the wing, not the wing, sorry, the edge of the liner, just so it's not having a harsh stop. I'm then just going to go back in with a tiny bit of my Colourpop concealer, and I'm going to use this on a Unicorn Cosmetics brush, and I'm just going to place this in the inner corner of my eye just to brighten that up before applying a shadow. And then we're going to go in with the shade C1 in the Anastasia palette, just directly over the top of that. So I'm now going to go in underneath this eye with our concealer, and I'm using the same Colourpop concealer. I'm just applying a decent amount under the eye, and I'm just going to blend that up towards my lash line. Okay, so I'm now going to go in to the waterline with a black kohl pencil and smoke that out with our shadows. So my favourite black kohl pencil of 2019 was the Barry M waterproof eyeliner in the shade black. It's really black. It goes into your waterline really smoothly as well, and it's just really nice to apply. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply that. Okay, so just going into the palette that we have been using, and I'm going to go into the darkest shade that we use, so the dark bluey purple, and I'm just going to use this to smudge out that black. And then I'm going to go in with a slightly larger brush, and I'm going to go in with the pink shade, so the D3 in the palette, and I'm going to use that to further smoke out that shade. And I'm just taking the pink right under the eyes. So I'm just going to smoke this section here out, not right the way in, but just the outer section out with the yellow in the palette, which is D4. I've done both of the underneath of the eyes. I'm now going to move on to the skin, and then I'll come back and do lashes and stuff. So the next step in my makeup routine now would be my foundation. I just use the Hydrating Moisturiser as my primer. I'm not really a primer kind of gal. My two favourite foundations for 2019 were the Maybelline Superstay, and I use the shade mostly Warm Sun. It's a really nice full coverage, and I actually think I started using this in 2017, and I have literally loved it and still continue to use it, and it has not let me down. It's a really good coverage foundation, and it just looks amazing, and I'm pretty sure it's only like $10.99, but I love it and my clients love it, which is really good. And then another favourite, more so for clients just because I am more on the oily side, is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. It's really nice and luminous, and it's also quite full coverage as well, which is good. I just don't find it personally lasts on my own skin, but if I'm doing a makeup look and stuff like that there, I love it. But I do really like it for clients that are slightly more on the drier side, and it blends beautifully on their skin, which is really good. So today I'm going to use the Maybelline one. So I'm just going to apply that using a Peaches PC25 brush and just patting it onto the skin. Okay, so I'm then going to go in with my concealer underneath my eyes, and I'm just going to use the same Colourpop one that I've been using everywhere else. So I'm just literally going to pop that concealer on. I'm really running low on this. Yeah, and I'm just blending that in with a little fluffy brush. Next in my routine, I would then go in with cream contour. So my all-time favourite is the Makeup Revolution foundation stick in the shade F13. The only thing is I can't get my hands on this anywhere at the minute, and I ain't got any left. Like, there's literally the tiniest bit in that, which is really depressing because I can't seem to get it anywhere, but I don't know if it's discontinued or it's just a really hard shade to get. I'm not 100% sure. And then my next favourite would be the Sosu contour sticks, and I mix between the shade Warm and the shade Dark. Warm is a beautiful golden tone, but it's just not usually dark enough for me, and then Dark is nice and dark for me, but it's very red tone, so I usually just do a wee mix between the two. And I'm just going to apply them using a Peaches PC21 brush. Okay, so next in my routine would then be powder. So my favourite all-time powder is the Makeup Forever Super Matte Powder, and I use the shade 12 in that. I don't have a lot of this left, and I'm pretty sure this has been discontinued. Don't know why, but I also haven't been up to town to be able to see if I can get it, so I'm not going to use that today. But another one of my new favourites that I've only really launched towards the end of the year are the Anastasia powders. I use the shade Vanilla and Banana, so I would use Vanilla like underneath my eyes and then Banana for my overall face, just because I prefer that shade. So I'm just going to go ahead and use those. I like to take a small fluffy brush and set underneath my eyes and down the centre of my face with the shade Vanilla, and then I'll go in with a larger brush and set my face with the shade. Okay, so next in my routine would then be bronzer, and my overall favourite bronzer of the year was the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Dark Tan. So I'm just going to apply that to everywhere where I cream contoured using a Zoeva 126 Luxe cheek finish brush. Okay, and next in my routine would then be my nose contour. I don't like to do too much to my nose contour just because I feel like it ends up making my nose look 10 times worse, but I do just like to go in, and this is like a mini baby one, but it's just for my nose, so it's fine. I like to go in with the Benefit Hoola bronzer and just use that to just kind of warm up the sides underneath the button and create like a small little line. Okay, and now for blusher. So my favourite overall blusher for the year was the Milani Bellissimo Bronze in the shade 06. So it's just 06, just a baked blush, and I'm just going to apply that using a Morphe M510 brush and just applying it to the apples of my cheeks and pulling it back into the bronzer. I haven't worn this in ages, but it was my overall blush that I did pretty much wear most of 2019, and then towards the end of the year I started trying to try new things because you kind of get stuck in using the same stuff all the time. Okay, and now at this stage of my makeup I would go in with a setting spray or hydrating mist. When I'm doing like the likes of an Instagram look, I will always go in with the likes of a hydrating mist. An Instagram look? Yeah, a look. When I'm doing a look, I'll always go in with the likes of a hydrating mist. If I am going like out for the day, I will use the Urban Decay Slick setting spray. Just because I'm really oily, I feel like this helps control my oils a wee bit better. But then just for a creative look that I know I'm going to be taking straight off, I go in with the Superdrug Vitamin E Hydrating Mist. This apparently has like all the same ingredients as MAC's Fix Plus and it's a lot cheaper, so we like that. So I'm just going to spritz that on my skin. It went into my candles and they're freaking out. They started sizzling. That's dangerous. So for highlighter, I actually have two that I use in combination with each other. And the first one will be no shock to anyone on my Instagram because I feel like I use it nearly in every post. So the first one is the It's All Beauty highlighter in the shade Shine Bright. And then what I like to do is apply that to the top of my cheekbones, and then I like to blend it out with MAC's Global Glow Mineralized Skin Finish. I feel like this just gives a really lovely overall finish to your highlighter, and it means that you're not having like it sitting in a blocky finish, and it just blends really nicely into everything on your face. And then I will blend that out, so blend the edges of that out with the MAC's Mineralized Skin Finish and just soften it all back into the skin. Okay, so next in my routine would be brows. For the end of the year there, I did start doing my brows first, but now I'm going back to doing them the way I used to and doing them last. So my two favourite products, which I'll use like either or, is the Anastasia Brow Wiz in the shade Medium Brown. It is so good and I absolutely love it. It is literally, that is all I have left, so we're really sad about that. And then I also use the Anastasia Brow Powder in the shade Medium Brown also. So I just kind of go between the two and what I prefer to use. Obviously the Brow Wiz has ran done, so we're kind of on to the powder. Yeah, so the Brow Wiz has kind of ran done, so I'm kind of just using the powder for now. And I'll basically use the Anastasia 7B brush and just do little hair strokes throughout the brow, and I just dip in between the two shades in this product. And I don't really like my brows to be overdone, I prefer them quite natural. So I just put my lashes and my mascara on off camera. For mascara I used the Be Perfect Bad Llama mascara. To be honest, I'm not really overly fussy on mascara, but I do personally really like this mascara. I've just realised I never popped it on my bottom lashes, so I'll do that in a minute. For lashes, my favourite overall brand of lashes for the year is probably Tally Lashes, because I use them on my clients. They are good, like they're a good staple go-to if I like don't know what to use in a look, and I just think they add a really nice finish to the look. So today I chose the style TL2, but another few of my favourite styles are TL1, TL Mitchell, and I really love TL9 as a more natural pair, and also TL6. So next in my routine would be my lips. So I'm just going to go with my favourite overall lip colour that I found myself kind of gravitating towards, that I wore out day to day. It is perfect for a look, but usually on looks I would try to be a wee bit more adventurous and kind of change it up, but I'm just going to show my like everyday combo. So my favourite lipstick of the year is Honey Love lipstick by MAC, and then my lip liner, probably the one that I used the most over the year, was by Lip Pencil in the shade Toast. Another one of my favourites is MAC Whirl lip pencil, but I completely ran done of that and just have not bothered to replace it. So I always go in with my lip pencil first and start by kind of overlining my lips ever so slightly in the centre, bringing them down to the corners of my mouth and then the middle as well. So I kind of fill my lips in a good bit with the lip pencil, and then I will pat the lipstick in the centre. And then I'll usually go over that with my lip finger. Okay my honeys, so that is the finished look using my 2019 favourites. I would love it so much if you could comment your 2019 favourites down below. It would also mean the world to me if you could like this video, and please subscribe to my channel. It really will help me. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it was not too long for you, and I hope you did learn a wee bit in this video too. If you have any suggestions on what I will film next, please let me know in the comment section.